Hey Soloists, Agent Soul, Matt Rice here. Welcome to Encounters Shattered Wastes by Ryan Farmer. I'm going to do a playthrough of this using the tutorial boss. And I think there's 8 bosses in this game. I'm going to play through the tutorial boss. I've got his stuff set up. If you've missed my setup video, please check that one out. There's one thing I didn't do in setup, which is getting the ability cards, which I'll show you very soon. First of all, just a reminder, the Guardian, this is what I'm up against. So this is field protection. When a character has their HP reduced to 0 during the defense phase, that character gains 1 HP. And I've added 1 extra strength card to stamina per character and 1 extra magic card per character. Shuffle them up, put in the stamina. I've got our 5 threat cards that are already out. This pretty much represents, traps and enemies that are in front of us, protecting the boss. And the aim of the game is, being a boss battler, of course, is to defeat the boss. There's 2 phases of the boss. To get there, we have to defeat all these strength and magic cards into fatigue. Once they're all into fatigue, he is then staggered, and once you injure him, he can go into wounds. When all his cards are into wounds, he flips his card over, he goes into stage 2, so he might be a little bit tougher, certain things might happen, and then we're going to do the same thing again. Put all the threats into fatigue and then into wounds, and to finally defeat it. We get defeated if all our characters' HP set to 0, all our characters have been fully corrupted and shattered into the wasteland. I've got 3 characters already set up out here. I might just show you the abilities that I chose for them. All right, I've got 3 characters. The first character I've got here is Slayer. He's got the reclaimed blade. And essentially what you can do in this game, when we get into it, is that there's a refresh phase, an action phase, and a defend phase. And on our action phases, we can move, we can use abilities, we can use basic attacks, things like that. So this Slayer, starts with 9 health, 7 magic, which are used to power up abilities, and has 0 threat to start with. Threat is what's gained and means the boss will start aiming at that person. The higher the threat they are, that's what it sort of represents. And if we have too high of a threat, we can't attack. And in fact, if our threat's too high, we become shattered, and then we get to our second phase ourselves. And I don't really want that too early in the game. We've all got our little activation tokens. The 3 abilities I chose is based on drawing out these cards. Now, there was 2 attacking type cards, 2 defensive cards, 2 sorcery type cards, and 2 item cards that I drew, and I chose 3 of them. Same thing happens to everyone across here. So this Ronin, for example, I drew 4 martial, I think they're called cards, martial cards, and 4 items, and I chose the 3 that I thought would best suit the character. I've gone with the crystal elixir. So items are kind of like one-off uses during the whole game. I can remove all afflictions, which is things like poison and stun and blind, things that affect my character. So later in the game, if I have too many of them or someone does, I can remove all affliction from that character in that area. I can reduce their threat to 0, and each character may cycle, meaning replace their abilities. Any of their attached martial, defensive, or protecting, what's called, or sorcery cards, and then flip this down, so it's like a one-off boost to our stuff. The other abilities I've got here, Smiting Impale. Now, I should talk about this stuff here along with the attack actions here. So I said 9 HP, 7 magic to power these. This costs 3 magic to use, 1 magic to use this one. Generally, I normally roll 1 die for attack. I can, if it's a successful attack, meaning if it's higher than my threat value, at the moment my threat value is 0, so any roll would do, I would take out 2 cards in front of me. If I crit on a 6, I get special abilities, which I'll explain if that happens once we get to it. This one here, this one lets me attack with 2 dice. Now, 2 dice has more of a chance of critting than 1 dice. The odds of getting a 6 with 2 dice is much higher than getting a 6 with 1 die. That's a total of 6, I believe. I don't think it's a 6 on 1 die. So if the enemy is staggered, so in their staggered fate, so this just comes in a bit later, this one, and this attack hits, before damage is dealt, reduce your threat to 0 and deal 2 additional damage. And once it's staggered, that means 2 more will go into wounds, so wound him quicker. So that'd be good. That costs 3 though, pretty high cost. Cost of 1 here, I can attack for 2 dice. If you roll less than 8, you must place all threat cards from an adjacent area into your target area before dealing damage. And then I can cycle this, meaning I can remove this ability and draw a new ability. But it's a bit of a random choice, that new ability. So depending on what my situation is, if I want that card or not anymore. Well, I've got the Ronin here. So they've got 10 health, 9 magic, and 0 threat, of course. They also roll 1 die for attack, based on attack. They also take out 2 threat cards, and they crit on a 1. So it's probably best if this person just rolls 1 die. When your basic attack misses, this is like a reaction. So if I miss with my attack, I get to recover. Recover meaning I can recover my magic health based on a die roll or get rid of threat. That's kind of good. So promotes this person to go and try and attack as much as they can. The abilities I chose with this person: Mage Breaker, attacks for 1 die. Do not gain threat from magic cards. So on the board at the moment, which you can't see, but on the board there's 2 different types. There's ones with the claws, which is the like physical attack, and there's ones with like that firebolt looking thing, which is more of like a magical attack. Where are we? Over here. So if I'm performing one against that, I don't gain threat from those ones if I'm doing this attack. Riposte, it's a reaction. So when your HP is reduced from a card, so like one of these cards, so one of those cards, or from a rage card, which is like a card that happens when there's no threat in front of you. The boss will hit you with their rage card, which is generally tougher, I think, from what I've looked at. I get to perform a basic attack targeting your current area. So it's like an out of reaction, so that's a good like react back. I assume I still take threat though. I wonder how that works with rage card. That's interesting. I suppose rage card hits every character, I think, sometimes. And then Ghost Nectar. This is an item. When you use this item, set this card next to your character tracker. For the remainder of the round, when you would gain threat, do not gain the threat with your own hand space. So if I want to do a big attack and there's a lot of threat out there and I don't want it, I can use that Ghost Nectar. The final character is the Arithmagician. Of course, I'm going to choose the Arithmagician if I'm a mathematics teacher, or former mathematics teacher. I'm not sure what I am these days. So he's got 5 health, 12 magic, so he's my magic dude. 0 threat, of course, to start with. Rolls 1 die for basic attacks. Can get rid of 1 threat in front of me if successful. And I'll crit on a 2. It has a special ability that when a character in your area rolls dice, so meaning front and back, because there's 2 spots in the same area, you can reduce your magic by 3, change your die face, increasing it by 1. So that can really be helpful if I just miss out by 1. With the choices, I drew 1 protecting card, 5 sorcery, and 2 items. I decided to go with 3 sorcery cards. Got this one, the Fire Monsoon, attack with 1 die. If this attack hits before you deal damage, place a number of threat cards equal to the attack roll from fatigue into wounds. So that's why it's cost so much. That can get me a lot of fatigue into wounds, but if I roll, it's based on a roll of die though. Healing Zephyr. I thought I might need someone that heals. This person does it. Choose the front line or back line. Roll 1 die. All characters in that line gain that much HP. And then Stasis. They're all high costing magic, but he's got a lot of magic. When a threat card in your area would be revealed, so the reaction, do not reveal the threat card. Okay, so I can put off 1 if it's getting a bit too much. Alrighty, that's my character rundown. Let's get into the play. Alright, let's get into the playthrough for against the Guardian. So he's on his guards phase. He's not staggered at all. We now do the refresh phase as part of the first steps. So what happens here, the enemy bolsters its defenses, refreshing any of these cards to enemy areas on the board based on the character rolls. So the first step we do, and normally this will be for subsequent rounds, is to begin this phase by placing one of these threat cards from his stamina that contains 1 or 2 characters but has no cards. So at the moment there's all cards here, so don't have to worry about that. But say if there was no card here, we would have to replace 1 in. Okay. We then take turns as players, rolling our dice based on the refresh value, so 1 dice per character, or 1 die per character. And then place a stamina card in each area corresponding to the die roll, starting with the lowest number. If a 6 is rolled, no card is drawn. Okay, so where's our dice? Oh my god, I don't have any dice. let's use their special dice here. Ooh, so cool. So, get the little dice out. And I'll just roll 3 dice. And so we've got like a 4, followed by another 4, then a 2. If we rolled a 6, there would be nothing coming out. So 2, so the lowest die. So first, so 2 gets 1, and then 2 on 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down like that. So this is not too bad for us. Look at that situation. Okay, put the dice to the side. So that's pretty much the end. A refresh stage. If there were no cards left in stamina, we would then set this guy to staggered, meaning if we do any damage to him, it goes to wounds, but not yet. And then what would happen is you draw from fatigue back into the board situation. But that's not the case. We're now up to the game phase or the action phase. So we could do one of a few different things, and the reference card's pretty handy for this. So I've got the reference card here. So you can move. So meaning you can move up to 3 times adjacent wise. So adjacent meaning you can't go diagonal. So this Ronin could go 1, 2, 3 if you wanted to. You can do them in any order. The same action may be performed twice, by the way, as well. So we can move, do a basic attack, which is that basic value, which I'll talk about. We'll do that soon. You could recover to get rid of threat, regain magic, or regain health. No, sorry, you can't regain health. You can remove 1 affliction, sorry. Use an active ability that we've got. Now, abilities you can only use once per turn. Unless it says otherwise. Or you could shatter, meaning you turn your card over, but that gets you closer to death. Which is not good. Normally you want to shatter if you've got too many afflictions or your hit points are 0 and you've got no way of healing. You are slightly more powerful in some cases on the shatter side by the looks of things. But it won't be until you're dead as well. Okay, so let's give this a go. Let's have a think what we're going to do here. But I'm thinking the issue here is if it ever gets to 9 threat at the end of the defend phase, something bad happens, which I'll talk to you about if we do have that happen. At the moment, we're okay. This is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So even though there's 3 cards here, it's the same as this one here and this one here. So not a big deal at the moment. So what I might do is I might use my Ronin first here. Let's have a look at what we can do. What I might do, I might first actually use the Slayer. So I'm going to do Provoking Pierce here. Get to roll 2 dice. If you roll less than 8, you must place all threat cards from an adjacent area into your target area before dealing it. Because I wouldn't mind grabbing, because at the moment I've only got like 1 threats in front of me. I wouldn't mind grabbing like a 3 threat. And then after that, when you deal damage while performing a basic attack, you may spend a magic point for each threat gained. Place the top threat card from stamina to fatigue for each. Because I want to do that because Arith Magician has a way of getting fatigue things into wounds from its Fire Monsoon ability. So let's do that with the Slayer. See what happens here. All right, so Slayer is going to roll 2 dice. So I get 10. That's not less than 8. Bummer. Because if I rolled less than 8, I would have been able to drag this one over here, or that one down here. It all didn't happen. So that didn't happen. So I still get to deal my 2 damage, because on the Slayer card, it does 2 damage. Or gets rid of 2 cards when it does that. So he's going to hit these 2. So 10 is well above his threat of 0. And he rolls these 2. These go into fatigue. Top goes first. I think that's how it works. Because sometimes they can come out of fatigue, back out. Unfortunately, now there's 3 threats in front of me, but hopefully I can get a way to get rid of that. I don't know. We'll see. He's then got a second action here. Let's have a look. So I should update this. He spent 1 magic and he gained 2 threat. So now when I roll attack dice, I've got to get above a 2. Unless my crit was a 1 or a 2. I've got to get above a 2 to be able to do a successful attack. So we've got options here. I could do a recover action to recover that threat, or I could do a basic attack, which I might do here. Let's get rid of that 3 threat in front of me. Why not? And then while you deal damage, so if I'm successful, while you do damage while performing an act, you may spend 1 magic point for each threat gained. Place the top card from 7 to fatigue this way. I'm hoping I am successful. Let's see. All right, it's a 1 dice attack, my basic attack. I've got a 5. That's higher than 2, so I'm successful. I can defeat 2 things, but unfortunately there's only 1 thing in front of me. I'm going to gain 3 threat for that, which I'll update in a moment. Then I may spend 1 magic point for each threat gain, which is 3. Place the top card from stamina to fatigue for each MP spent this way. And there is 3 in the stamina, so let's do that. So this stamina here, I've got 1, 2, 3. Should have gained 3 threat up to 5, and I've spent 3 MP. I'm down to 3 here. So a lot of cards in his fatigue already. So he could be staggered very soon. Since all these cards are in fatigue, he should be staggered. I believe that's how I read that. So I'm going to put him as staggered. I'm sure, as always with my playthroughs, there might be the odd mistake I might make. Please let me know if that's not correct. I'm not sure if it's only during refresh phase that happens, or if it's just any time there's nothing left in stamina. Any event, that's what's going to happen for me. Let's make the Ronin go next. Now, this Ronin guy, I'm not going to do anything too special. When your basic attack misses, perform a recover. I mean, that's not bad, but I don't need to recover anything at the moment, unfortunately. And none of my abilities really help out at the moment. So let's just do a basic attack, which is 1 die. I crit on a 1. But I do 2 damage, and I should be successful. I'm just going to see if I crit. I do crit. So what happens when you crit on an attack? Now, because he does 2 damage, both of these will go in to fatigue. 1, 2. Actually, he's staggered, isn't it? So he'll go to wounds. 1, 2. Into his wounds. Normally I would gain threat, but because it was a crit, you actually don't gain threat when it's a crit. So that leaves me opportunity to move away here if I wanted to, which I might do. So my second action, I guess my only option is to go down here. In front of this 3, which is not great, but I'd rather that than a rage card, I think. Yeah, I think because Slayer's already getting a rage card here. Alright, now it's up to the Aerith Magician's turn. And I think they're going to do a Fire Monsoon here. That's what I'm thinking. So they're at 12 magic at the moment. So attack with 1 die. If this attack hits, before you deal... Actually, I wonder if that's not going to happen, because... I mean, I suppose I could still attack, but I'd attack nothing. I'm sure that's legal. But anyway, if I want to hit this to hit, place a number of threat cards equal to the attack roll from fatigue into wounds. And then I must cycle this. So we'll see how cycle works. Let's just do that. But I'll be attacking nothing here. I could move down here and attack this, but then I'll get a rage card at him, which I don't really want. I don't think I want that. So let's do that. So I'm going to spend 6 to do an attack. My threat's 0, so 2. That's fine. I hit nothing here, but it's successful. I place a number of threat cards equal to the attack roll. So it's only 2, unfortunately. But I'm going to put 2 threat cards equal attack roll from fatigue into wounds. I was hoping for a higher roll there. That would have really damaged him good. But that's okay. And then his last move here. So he gets no threat from that. But he has to spend 6 magic. Which is not great. He could heal, but no one's injured. I'm thinking I'll just move behind here, because he will block that damage there. I believe that's how that works. Alrighty. So now we're going into defend phase. So in the defend phase, we now first look at the threat icons in each row. If a row has more value, greater than the enemy's, I don't know what that's called, but anyway, if it's greater than 9, at the moment the highest is 5. If that's greater than 9 at this point, we then reveal a strength card, and this affects all characters on the board, not just the ones in front. If there is 1 character in the area, reveal the top threat card targeting the character. It suffers the effects of the revealed symbols shown. If there are 2 characters in the area, reveal the top threat card, so in this case here. And then if it's one of these claw marks, it hits the front. If it's a magic bolt or fireball, it hits the back. If there's at least 1 character but no cards, reveal the top rage card. which affects all characters in the area. So the area is like going across. Okay. Actually, before I move on to the defend phase, I must cycle this. So what cycle does is it goes to the bottom of its respective deck, and then it's like I blindly draw a new one to replace it. So I get this one now instead. I've got an active attack. Before rolling dice on this attack, if you are in the front line, place the top stamina card and stamina into fatigue. Okay, so not as good as the one I just had, but that's okay. So in defend phase, we look for where pretty much the characters are. So this will stay here, nothing here, so it won't go off. This here, there's no characters. This one here, this will reveal them because it's a claw symbol, like a strength symbol, physical attack. It will hit the front line. So it's going to do a damage and a corruption. Corruption occurs if they're shattered. And corruption is how you die, I guess, or be removed from the board if you're in the shattered form. He's not the shattered form, but he will take a damage. However, this is going to be great. So he's going to take a damage from that card. Goes down to 9. And this will go into fatigue in a moment. But I've got riposte here. I can spend a magic, which I'm going to do. And when your HP is reduced from a threat or rage card, perform a basic attack targeting your current area. Actually, that's not good at all. Because this card's revealed. I guess I can't attack this same card, so forget that. I'm not going to do riposte. So that would only work if there was a second card underneath, I imagine. Whoopsie. That's okay. I'll still take the damage, though. This then goes into fatigue. And then we move on to the next one. This one had nothing in it. So a rage card's going to be revealed, and it hits everyone in the area being the same row. So reveal the top card here. What we've got here, we've got a damage, affliction, and a threat. And this will go to the bottom of the deck in a moment, but let's just update that. So he takes the damage. I'll take the threat now. That's pretty high threat, so he's going to have to recover very soon. And affliction is one of these cards here, this green card. So he takes a bleed. When your activation ends, reduce your current health by 1. And that's nasty, but recovers can get rid of those. Okay. And it's just him getting hit that because he's the only one in that area. Last thing we do on this phase, since there's no more characters left, this will stay here. We then turn this over to guarded side, and this all gets, and this will go to the bottom, the Minotaur shield. Of course. Wounds stay there, but the fatigue deck will come back into stamina. I believe I shuffle it up, I just want to double check. It doesn't say anything about shuffling, so I'm just going to straight move it. And then we go back to the same phase. We go back and repeat the process. So we've got refresh, actions, and defend phase. So let's keep going here. He's still in guarded phase. He's still got more stamina to go. So I'll keep playing. For those that have had enough of a tutorial, that's pretty much one round done if you're happy with that. But I'll keep playing and keep playing this all through. Right. So we reveal. So there's a card goes there. One card goes there. All right. And then we roll. So 3 dice for the 3 characters. So 3 and 2 5s. So put 1 at 3 and then 2 at 5. And the good news here is that he is now staggered. Okay, let's move to the action phase here. Okay, I think we're going to start with a Ronin here for... Actually, just do a basic attack. And I can't miss here because I've got no threat on me because he got a crit last time. So let's roll. He got a crit again. That's absolutely fantastic because I was about to take a ton of threat there. So 1 is his crit value, as I said. The crit value is right there. So he's going to take out both of these because he hits for 2. So that one goes to wounds because he's staggered. So wounds. I don't gain the threat because I critted. His second action, I suppose I probably should move away from there, shouldn't I? Where should he move? Do I go up to the 5 threat? Do I take a rage card where I am? He might move 2 down. 1, 2 down here. Stay right in front there. Next to maneuver, who should we use next? Actually, I might put Ronin at the back there. Sorry. So he's come from there. He's going to go 1, 2, 3 to the back. Because he's got an ability that with these magic cards, which would be good. Who would I use next? Maybe the Earth Magician, I might move. There's not much you can do. I think he's just going to... This could be a bad move here, but he's going to go down one. Just move. And then, because he's got that ability that can help someone else out, and then he's going to roll for recovery. So he rolls a die. He rolls a 6, which is not his crit, but 6 means he recovers 6. 6 is fantastic because he can get 6 all the way back up to 12 magic. It should be great. The last guy to go is the Slayer. Now, he's on 6 threat, so if he only rolls 1 die for an attack, a basic attack, he won't do anything. So I'm thinking I'll try to recover first. So let's do a recover action. A 1. Now, the Earth Magician, I was hoping that it might have been a 5 because that could have helped heaps. When a character in your area rolls dice, reduce your MP by 3, change your die face, increasing it by 1. So if you rolled a 5 or a 6, it would have been crit, and that could have got rid of all threat. 1 means it only gets rid of 1 threat. So instead, I might get rid of his affliction, because I can get rid of 1 affliction for any roll of the dice from a recover. So I'm going to do that. You might recover again here. I think that's what I might do, because that threat is horrible. So I'm going to recover again. Actually, think of this. Look at this. If the enemy is staggered and this attack hits, before damage is dealt, reduce your threat to 0. Deal 2 additional damage. Ooh. That could change what I should have done there. That's okay. I'll remember for next time. Oh boy, that could have been really handy. Let's do a recover action. It's a 1 again. Oh boy. I'm not sure if it's worth going up to a 2. I can use a Earth Magician to make that a 2, to recover 2. But I don't think I'm going to do that. What that means is I'm just going to lower his threat to 5 instead of by 1. Boy, that's probably not the best of turns there, but we're not going to get any rage cards here during the defend phase, fortunately. So let's go through the defend phase. There's no... This is, what's that, 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. That's still below his 9, so that's not going to go off. Not going to set anything off. So let's go through one by one here. So we've got the magic card here. It's going to hit the back. But what we're going to do here, instead of revealing it, I'm going to use Stasis. This is on the Earth Magician. When a threat card in your area would be revealed, do not reveal the threat card, but I must cycle this. So I'm going to spend 3 to not reveal this card. So spending 3 down to 9, but I have to cycle this. Goes to the bottom of the sorcery deck. And reveal this one. I've got Necrotic Arts. Attack with 1. Do not gain threat from strength cards when performing this attack. It's not too bad. And then down here, reveal this one. And it's a threat. Unfortunately, that doesn't do anything to my HP. I was hoping to use this riposte to then do an attack back. That's why I went down here, but that's okay. So again, a threat for the Ronin. The Ronin rolled 2 crits in the last 2 rounds, but that's his first threat. Okay. So we're getting there. This fatigue will then go back into stamina. He's back on a refresh phase and guard. But only 1 card's going to come out here. So we can roll 3 dice. But it's going to come out at 2. And then he's back to being staggered. Now it's back to action phase. I should say, technically, I should have been rolling these 1 at a time. It's just that some enemies have more than 1 refresh die ability. So I should be rolling these 1 at a time. But let's just say it went to 2. Not a big deal. But he's still staggered anyway. Let's go to action phase. Okay, I think I'm going to have the Slayer act first here. I'm going to use the Smiting Impale. If the enemy is staggered, which it is, and this attack hits before damage is dealt, reduce your... And it rolls 2 dice, which is good. Reduce your threat to 0, because my threat's at 5 at the moment. And I deal 2 additional damage. Well, that's not going to help too much. Because I'm next to the Earth Magician, he can help out by adding 1 to my result as well. I'm going to roll 2 dice. I'm spending 3 magic points. I'm down to 0 magic points here. Hopefully I get 6 or above here. I got a 6. Fantastic. So that gets rid of this. Before damage is dealt, threats reduced to 0. So I'm going to go to 0, then back to 3 when I defeat this. And it's going to go to wounds. Unfortunately, I can't deal any more damage. Reduce magic to 3. This would have gone to 0. And then now it's back up to 3. So defeating that. Okay. I think then as his second action, I could recover to get some magic points, but then I'm in the way of some rage here. So let's just move up to here. I think that's what I'm going to do. Second person to act. I'm going to use the... Yeah, let's use the Aerith Magician. It's got 0 threat still, so let's move it 1, 2, 3 up here. And I'm going to use the Necrotic Arts. So I've got 9 magic at the moment, so I can spend this. I can attack for 1. Do not gain threat from the physical attack cards when performing this attack. So I'm going to drop my magic to 6. I'm going to roll 1 die. It should auto hit anyway. But that's great because I didn't get a crit, but I don't get the 5 threat there. And that's going to go straight to wounds because he's staggered, which is fantastic. Okay. And the last person to go is going to be the Ronin. So it does 2 damage. Let's just do a basic attack here. My threat's at 1. So let's just attack. 2, it's better than 1. I deal 2 damage. So I'm going to take out both of these to put them into wounds. I gain 6 threat though, unfortunately. Unfortunately, there was no magic cards that I couldn't gain threat from to use this. So I gained 6 threat. I'm up to 7 threat for this guy. So this guy really needs to recover. I'm thinking I might move it to avoid a rage though. Let's do that. I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, as I don't want a rage card, even though I need to recover badly. But there's only 1 card there, which I think we could deal with. Okay, we're going to go into defend phase now. Alrighty, Aerith Magician's going to take a rage. I can't do much about this. And it's 4 damage, Virtuous Crush. Woof. Oh boy, 4 damage. That 4 damage is nasty. He's only got 5. Jeez, so he's down to 1. I've got to be careful. I'm going to have to use a healing item here. Or healing Zephyr on myself. And then here, this magic card's going to hit the Ronin at the back for 1 threat. And it goes into fatigue. 1 threat. Up to 8, which is not good. 12 means I'd shatter. Okay. Alright, the good news, well, it goes back to guarded stamina. And it can only put out 1, and it's going to be shattered straight away again. And it's going to go to the topmost, where the Aerith Magician is. Okay. Alright, in this action phase, all we've got to do is just get rid of this, which you could probably easily do, I imagine. And once that occurs, he's going to change forms into his injured phase. He's shattered at the moment, so it's going to go straight to his wounds. So I think what we're going to do here is... Alright, we're going to make the Aerith Magician go here. He's just going to do a basic attack. Has a crit of 2. My threat's 0 at the moment, so let's just do that. A 1. So it removes this. I get 1 threat, which I'll do in a moment. And this is going to be transformed into its injured side now. So what happens here is I remove these cards, replace with the injured side card, turn him over. Now, this says 0 and 0, so this means if I'm going to have to add or subtract certain cards from the stamina deck. He's got a new ability now too. He has refresh has 1, but his threat tolerance is less now as well. I have to look out for that in future rounds. You left me no choice. After a physical attack card is revealed during the defend phase, each character in the target area gains a threat. So he's trying to up the threat on me. He's injured, and that goes in there. Don't have to add anything else, so this just gets shuffled up. Put back into stamina. Okay, but at the moment we've got nothing in front of us, so we're just going to recover as best we can. But we're going to take some rage here. Unavoidable rage. What I also have to grab here is his new... I don't have the acrylic standees, but I'm going to grab his injured standee. Alright, the Aerith Magician here is going to do a recover, so it's gained 1 threat. Should do that. And he's going to do... sorry, not recover, he's going to do his healing Zephyr. Choose the front or back line. Roll and die. All characters in the line get that much HP. And I must cycle this. So I'm going to spend 4 magic, which puts me down to 2 magic. Roll a die. 2. I gain 2 health. So he gains 2 health. Better than 0, I guess. Up to 3. I spent my 4 magic, so I'm down to 2 here. Got 1 threat, as I said. Also, Ronin's going to gain 1 because it's also in the back line. To a maximum. I don't think it can go above max, so I'm assuming it recovers up to its maximum. As you can see, these guys there's nothing else to get rid of during this round, so what I'm thinking is we'll just recover as much as we can in preparation of this rage card that's coming at us. Slayer here is going to do recover. 4, I'm going to recover, yeah, let's get 4 magic points. In the second action, another recover. 1. Let's reduce 1 threat to 2. The Ronin, pretty much all just going to aim at threat here, I think. So recover, 3, that's 3 threat. And recover again, 4. 4 threat down to 1. Excellent. All right, but we're going to cop some bad rage cards here. See how it's turned out. Earth Magician gets the first rage card. Gain threat until it reaches 11. Wow. Oof. Okay. Nasty stuff. So it's really upped it. So it really hates the Earth Magician here. Doesn't like his maths. Up to 11. Is here. This rage card will hit both of Slayer and Ronin. Each character in the front line. Ooh, so it changes it up. Each character in the front line gains 3 damage. So that means Ronin's fine here. Actually, this is better than what could have happened. This just changes up. I trust the card text here than what it says in the rulebook. So normally this would hit both, but it says each character in the front line. Unless that means, or no, I think it's made just once. I was thinking if it hits both, it hits him, front line 3, then hits him, but then it goes to front line 3. I don't think so. I think it just went off. So someone will probably tell me if that's wrong. But 3 damage to the Slayer. 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Alrighty. Refresh phase. Back to being guarded. And then now we're going to roll. Know your roll. So roll 1 for each. So Earth, 2 coming out. So Earth Magician. 1 here. And then we roll 1 at a time. So 3. It's still only 1 here, but as soon as it hits 5 or more, I think it's greater than that, isn't it? But I'll double check that. But at the end of the action phase, when it hits defend, if I don't have 5 or less, I think it's greater than that. If I don't have 5 or less, I'm going to have to reveal a threat card that hits everyone, which is not good. So I'm going to put 1 at 3. Roll again. Ooh, 1 at 1. And roll again. 3. At least it's all jumbled up near us. I forgot to cycle the healing card too, because it says you must cycle it. So cycle that and get a new one out. And we got Spirit Bond reaction. When an adjacent character gains threat, roll a die, reduce that much threat from the adjacent character. That's kind of handy actually. Earth Magician first. Let's recover. Recover 2. Yeah, okay. 1, 2. And then I would like to recover more magic though, wouldn't I? Yeah, let's do that, because I know the Slayer can hit 2 things. Though I got this, but I don't have enough magic, so I want to recover. Yeah, let's recover some magic. Okay. Magic 5, love that. Let's go up to 7. That's exactly what we needed there. Okay, that's Earth Magician done. I'm thinking what I'm going to do here. Move. For sure. And I might do a provoking attack here. I've got 2 threat at the moment. Provoking attack. If you roll less than 8, you must place all threat cards from an adjacent area into a target area before dealing damage. Actually, I don't know. I want to get rid of that 5, don't I? So maybe just do a basic attack. It only rolls 1. If I roll 1, I've got troubles here. Let's risk it. I've got a 4. Excellent. So that's more than my 2. I'll do 2 damage. Just gets rid of that. So fatigue. Now, I have, so he's going to take, what's that, 6 threat there. But I do have Earth Magician. Reaction, Spirit Bond. Roll 1 die, reduce that much threat from the adjacent character. So I'm going to do that right now. I don't know how the order really works. It says when an adjacent gains threat. So I assume he's going to gain it first. So he gets 8. But then the reaction was Spirit Bomb, which spends 2 from Earth Magician. Roll 1 die, and I'm going to reduce that much threat. 1. Oh, well, what I might do here then, because that was his second action, wasn't it? Yeah. When you deal damage while performing basic attack, which it was a basic attack in the end, you may spend 1 magic point for each threat gained. I gained 6. Place that top card from it. Yeah, so let's spend, do I spend all 4? I think let's do it. Spend all 4. I'm going to put that many cards into fatigue. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because that means it might stagger him for next turn. Okay. Ronan still has to go here. I think the Ronan might attack then move. I think I'd rather take a 2 threat than a rage, I think. So he's going to do a basic attack. 5 is fine. He will gain a threat. Just trust me, he's now on 2 threat. He is then going to move, I guess. Move down 1. Or 1, 2. In front line there. Yeah. I'm going to do that. Alrighty. Now we moved into defend phase here. So we're going to get rage card here. Hitting both. 5 damage to both. Ooh. I don't think we've got a way to... Oh, that's right. So if you get down to 0 health, you do have 1 more turn of activation. So that would pretty much kill my Earth Magician and Slayer. But they've got 1 more turn to do something about it. Let's see what happens here. That's a nasty one. So, oh no, that's 5 threats, right? I thought it was 5 damage. Oh my god. But 5 threat, that's going to still shatter my Earth Magician anyway. Let's have a look. So when you shatter, what happens? You turn the card over. Oh, so first I'm going to gain the 5 threat, which unfortunately hits 12 exactly the time when you shatter. When you shatter, you turn this board over. Ooh. Okay. And then you reset. So I've got HP of 10. My corruption limit is 12, so that's pretty good. So when you hit 12, that means you're removed from the board. You start with 0 corruption, but corruption tends to power these abilities. And you go back to 0 threat as well. You lose all afflictions, which I don't have any of, and you also lose your abilities. But you draw a new ability called a shattered ability. I get to draw 1. So I'm going to do that. Let's draw a shattered ability. And I get this one, Demonic Flames. Doesn't cost me any corruption to use. When you crit, place 1 threat card from summon into a wound, which is very cool. So generally I'm stronger. I roll 2 dice now. I crit on a 7. And I still do 2, get rid of 2 damages. At start of activation, I gain a corruption though. And you cycle a shattered card. So unfortunately I'm going to cycle that one out, which I actually like. But so you keep getting new abilities at least, but then it's unpredictable as for him. So now if I ever get to 0 health, or if I get 12 threat, or if my corruption is hits up to 12, they're removed from the board, they're out of the game. I'm going to live on this side for the activation. Of course, unfortunately, the Earth Magician will also shatter. So the same thing, turn it over. He's a corrupted mathematician guy now. Turn this over, he's got 10 health, which is much better than the 5. 9 corruption is his issue. 0 threat again. So they roll 2 dice for attack, which is great. Still only hits 1, but crits on 7. Which is really good. Divided by 0. When a character in your area attacks, change your die face to any side, then gain that much corruption. That's handy with the Ronin, I guess. Because the Ronin has a 1 for crit, so I'll try and get near the crit. And I draw 2 shattered abilities. So Let's get rid of these. And I'll get 2 shattered abilities. So these are the ones with the purple backs. What do I get? I get Shattered Maelstrom. When you perform a basic attack, if your roll equals your current corruption, the attack is a critical. Each character may cycle one of their current... many of those cards. It's a free ability. You can use it at any time. Interesting. All right, let's continue with the defend phase. Replace my characters with their shattered versions now. So everyone's starting to succumb to these wastes here. The Ronins are wondering what's going on. In this defend phase, let's reveal the physical attack. 2 damage. That's brilliant. How's that brilliant? Well, it takes 2 damage, which is not great. But the riposte here, when your HP is reduced by a threat card or a rage card, perform a basic attack. I've got to spend 1 magic to do this, targeting your current area. So assume this goes to fatigue, but then I get to attack this. My threat is at 2. Oh. But what's brilliant is that when you perform a basic attack, if it misses, I perform a recover action. So I assume that happens now. I'm going to say yes. So let's recover. Recover 2. Let's get rid of that threat. Back down to 0. So fortunately didn't get rid of it, but that's okay. Alrighty. And you're back to the refresh phase. Okay. So refresh. Let's put the 5 up there. This one's already got 1. So then I'll roll. Well, there's only 1 stamina left. So I'll roll a die. It's on 1. We definitely have to get rid of these. And we're now staggered. Our guardian. Let's try and get as much things into wounds as we can here. There's only 3 out there, but that's all I can do. I'm just going to activate the Slayer. It's going to be a pretty boring turn though, I think. Save activation. I gain a corruption. And then I get to cycle, or have to cycle one of these cards. So I'm going to get a new one. I don't get to use that at all. Kind of a good card though. What do I get here? Curious one again. During the defend phase, if you would gain more than 1 corruption from a revealed that or rage card, reduce your instead. Ooh. If you would gain more than 1. So if it's only just 1, it's fine. Reduce your corruption by 1 instead. It's something. Okay. I should note, for these guys, when they're shattered, you can't recover. You can't spend a recover to get corruption removed. So I'm not sure what to do with this person. I can just move. I think I might just move 1, 2, 3. I think so. There's not much I can do. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else that I really want to do on this turn. I can do a basic attack, which I don't want to do, because I'll probably get a rage card, which is super bad. I'd rather just cop the flame. So yeah, I think I might just hold still. I know that we'll go to wounds, but I think we need more things out there. I think these rage cards are what's going to kill us here. Alrighty. Then I'm going to move the rodent here. 1, 2. And then I'm going to use its item. When you use this item, set this card next to your character tracker. For the remainder of the round, when you would gain threat, do not gain threat. Okay. So I'm just going to remind them I've used it. I'm just going to put it sideways a bit. And even then, the Arch Magician might be able to help me here. I think we're fine. And I've got no threat, so we're fine here. My basic attack, I roll a die, which is a 1, which is a crit. So I didn't need to use a Ghost Nectar, but that's okay. Defeats both of these. Oh, that goes a wound, sorry. Which is great, because they're big number ones too. 2 wounds. I don't cop any threat whatsoever, based on the Ghost Nectar, but also critted, but this would be handy for the remainder of the round. When you would gain threat, do not gain threat. So that could be handy for the rage card that's coming too. So that's still open until the end of the round, which is great. So it's more of a benefit defense. So I'm glad I used it. Okay. Who's left? I got the Arch Magician left. And I'm thinking they might just move out of the way here. There's nothing I can really do here. And I can't recover anything. I mean, I think I'll just move out of the way because I don't want him to get raged either. Let's go 1, 2, 3. And then wasted ability. That's okay. I got rid of 2 big ones there to wounds. Alrighty, defend phase. Let's get the rage going. Rage. The character with the lowest threat rolls a die. So they're all lower, so I get to choose. That character gains threat equal to the roll. Well, I'm going to choose. I think that's how it works. I get to choose what it is. They're all on 0 threat at the moment, which is fantastic. I'm going to choose the Ronin because it can't gain threat. So I'm not going to bother rolling. Beautiful. That worked out really well. This here will hit the back, and it's a threat and a corruption. Unfortunately, the rejected servitude, if you would gain more than 1 corruption, so it still gains 1 corruption. Bugger. So that hits both. Oh wait, no, that hits the back only, sorry. So 1 threat, 1 corruption. 1 threat, 1 corruption. Okay. So it goes to fatigue. It turns it back over to stamina. Okay. And we're back over to guardian as well. Alrighty, next round, we're still going here. Let's keep, so 2 areas here. 1, 2. And then we roll 3 dice. For the Ronin, 6 doesn't get revealed, unfortunately. Earth Magician, 4. And then Slayer, 4 again. Okay. I might do Ronin first here. He might go. He might go 1, 2, 3 down here, and I'm going to use Mage Breaker. Cost me 2. Don't gain threat from magic cards when performing this attack. So I'm only going to gain the 1 threat from the other card. So that cost me 2 magic, puts me down to 6 magic. I've got no threat on me, so this should be completely fine. 5. So don't gain threat from this, but I gain 1 threat from that. Both in fatigue. So I'm going to gain 1 threat, and I've already dropped my magic down by 2. I'm assuming the plan here is to let it build up a bit, because otherwise I'm going to get hit by so many rage cards. It's not going to be funny. So I'm thinking, let's move up 3 here. I think that's what I'd do. I don't know. Move up 3. And then move up 3. And then I might use, I mean, I can't recover anything. But I could use this to gain 2 corruption and cycle, each character might cycle 1 of their current cards. The reason why I'm doing that, I'll show you. I'm going to forego my last action. I don't think there's anything I can really do, but I wonder if I can cycle this. It's been flipped. I assume I can. So I'm going to gain 2 corruption. And then cycle this. Let's get a new item. We've got a threshold breaker. When this item is used, set it next to your character. If your next attack hits, the attack is critical. And flip this card down. If your attack misses, cycle this card drawing from the martial ability card. Ooh, to get a new attack. That's interesting. So we've got that one. Imagine I can also then cycle this card. I'm assuming yes. So I'm not sure if I need to use that again. And get a new one. Shadow Flight. When your activation begins, you may move to any unoccupied space. This is not an action. Ooh. You may move to any, so he's like teleporting everywhere, which makes sense. My activation's already begun though, so I've already done that one. And then now I'm down to the Slayer. Well, Slayer gains a corruption, and then a new Shattered card comes out. And it's got reveal all the threat cards in your area. Choose one and place it into wounds. Okay. Return it or other. Ooh, I could do that. Interesting. I reckon we'll do that. Gain 2 corruption though. That's okay. You can get up to 12 corruption, so let's go up to 5. Means this is going to go straight into wounds. What's he going to do next? I think he might move up here and then try to recover the threat. 3. He had 1 threat, so I'm just going to go down to 0 threat. You can't recover your corruption, unfortunately. Alrighty. Now we're into the defend phase. This is going to get revealed. It's going to hit the back. A threat and a corruption. Okay. So trust me, he's going to go to 1 threat and 6 corruption. And that's going to be the Slayer at the back. Roden's going to get hit for a rage card. Reduce the magic to 0 and 2 corruption. Luckily he's not shattered, but magic to 0 is going to be horrible. I've just done that, so he's down from 6 to 0 magic. But he hasn't really needed much magic. This goes to fatigue. Okay, we're back to refresh phase. Let's put 1 out there, 1 down here, put 3 out. Hopefully we can roll no 6s. 3, 1, 4. There we go, beautiful. And then he is in staggered mode, meaning we can hammer as much as we can into wounds here. And we really need to. I think the plan here, it's not going to be too difficult. I would love to recover, but I think we've got to avoid some of these problems. I suppose I could hit here and recover here. Maybe that's what I'll do. He's pretty healthy, the Ronin. So I'll roll 1 die for a basic attack. I've got no magic. Or do I recover first? Maybe I roll to recover first. Yeah. 3. So recover 3 magic. And that's not a crit, unfortunately. Okay, 3 magic, recovered. But that lets me able to use my ability if I wanted to. Suppose I could. Mage Breaker. Do not gain threat from magic cards when performing this attack. So I'm going to do that. So go back down to 1 magic. Roll a die. It's a 6. So this goes to wounds because it staggers at wounds. This goes to wounds. I only gain 1 threat from that. I'm up to 2 threat for the Ronin. 2 threat. Ronin's going to stay there because that's his last action. Okay, who's next? Let's go Slayer. Slayer gains a corruption. I cycle this card out. He's the one that's looking likely to have problems. Plenty of problems. New card. So this costs 1 corruption. When your attack misses, perform a basic attack and add your current corruption to the attack roll. This does not change any die facing. Yeah, so I think that means you can't go above 12. Change the die facing, that's how that works. Alrighty, his turn here. About to go nuts with him here. I'm going to go attack. He's got 1 threat. He attacks for 2 dice, and he'll destroy 2. So 11. The Earth Magician could. I could change to any die face. Ooh. Interesting. So this could help with the threat problem. Earth Magician. When a character in your area attacks, change your die face to any side, then gain that much. I might do that because he rolled 11. His critical is 7. So if I just change his 5 to a 1, he gains 1 corruption, so he goes up to 3 corruption. And then that's his crit, which means he doesn't get threat. He destroys both these into wounds. Beautiful. That worked really well. Not better than I wanted to be. Then he moves down. What's that mean for him? I don't think it matters here. I think we'll just go down straight down 1, 2 in front of that. And then the Earth Magician, can't really do anything. I can't recover. Because I've got no afflictions or anything. So let's go 1, 2 down here. And just wait. Do the old waiting game. Okay. Now we're into defend phase. He'll attack. Does 1 damage to person in front, which is the Earth Magician. So it goes down to 9 health. As you can tell, I'm trying to get through a bit quicker here. This will go into fatigue. He will shuffle. No, it doesn't shuffle. It just that goes back into stamina. He's now back to guard and refresh phase. Put out 2. 1, 2. Roll dice. So for the Earth Magician, it's a 3. Slayer 2, and then he's staggered again. We could finish this off this round. Let's hope so. I think it's easy steps here. What we do here, I think we just do simple attacks. Ronan's going to attack. It's got 2 threat here. But let's see how we go. 3, beautiful, just beats it. So again, 2 more threats, it goes up to 4. There is one last gasp that this guy will throw at us. So when he's defeated, there is a last gasp so that we have to, at least one of us survive. It goes to wounds. I guess I'll recover as my next action in case there is that last gasp, whatever that does. Yeah, I guess so. Let's recover 2. So recover 2 more threat, go down to 2 threat. What we're going to do here, this would be the Slayer. Technically Slayer here, I'm going to gain the corruption and then trade this card out. Perform a basic action, then perform a action, then perform a basic action. So that's pretty strong, that. So for 1 action, you can do 2 attacks and a move. That's very strong. But all I'm going to do is roll my 2 dice and attack, which is a 6. Both of these go into wounds. I gain 2 threat. And then I'm just going to do a recover action, which is a 3. Just gets rid of all the threat that you had. Beautiful. And the Earth Magician's going to move up 1. It rolls 2 dice for an attack. Has 0 threat, so this is fine here. This will get rid of this. And there you have it. Now, we just got to survive the last gasp. Yeah, just looking at the rulebook here for the last gasp. During the final defend phase of the encounter, so I can't really recover anything. Let's just move. I already moved him up, didn't I? Ooh, so they're all separate. We'll see how this happens here. During the final defend phase, so we're up to the defend phase now. After all threat cards have been put into wounds, the enemy will reveal 1 rage card. This will affect all characters, regardless of what they are or whether. If your characters are heroic, then it shouldn't be a worry. But if all characters are shattered, this could be very dangerous. If your tip is to try and memorize the enemy's rage deck so that you know, not surprised. Yeah, so it's just 1 rage card that hits everyone. What we got? Gain 3 until everyone reaches 11. That's not gonna. Everyone's just like super threatful, but then he is gone. Beautiful. There you have it, guys. I may have missed this too. I'm sure I've missed a couple of little rules. Someone will probably tell me. There may have been a physical card that hits me that gets me an extra threat. I don't think there was anyone else that was going to shatter / die from that. So you saw most of the mechanics there. Had shattering happening. Defeated this guy, got in the wounds. There probably wasn't too many affliction cards from this one. This is the tutorial boss, the easiest boss, as it says up here. So level 1, level 2. So I thought we did alright. I like the game. It's pretty cool. Like a little boss battle, JRPG style. Anyway, Soloists, there you have it. To crush your gaming thirst, play solo.